Most people think Las Vegas is controlled by the casino giants flashing their names in neon, but who really owns the Strip might shock you. In 2017, during Caesars bankruptcy, a new power emerged: VICI Properties. VICI is an invisible landlord that quietly bought the ground under the biggest resorts, collecting rent whether casinos win or lose. On paper, nothing looked different, yet behind the scenes, billions of dollars changed hands, and control of Vegas quietly slipped away from operators to this secretive empire. How did one company turn Las Vegas into America's most lucrative rent machine while few even know its name? Here is how the takeover began. In January 2015, Caesars Entertainment Operating Company filed for bankruptcy, weighed down by more than $18 billion in debt after years of leveraged buyouts and asset transfers. Creditors demanded a way to recover their money, and lawyers spent months in court untangling who would control the company's most valuable assets. The solution was radical for Las Vegas: split Caesars in two. The operating company would keep running the casinos and hotels, while a new entity would own the land and buildings beneath them. This new landlord, VICI Properties, was formally created on October 6, 2017, as Caesars emerged from bankruptcy. VICI launched with a portfolio of 19 properties, including famous names like Caesars Palace, Harrah's, and several racetracks and golf courses. Instead of running casinos, VICI signed long-term leases with Caesars, collecting an initial $630 million in annual rent. The arrangement followed a model known as PropCo-OpCo, where PropCo stands for property company and OpCo stands for operating company. For creditors, this structure offered a stable stream of income, backed by real estate that could not be stripped away or lost in a downturn. For Caesars, it meant a chance to focus on operations without the weight of debt tied to its buildings. The paperwork that carved out VICI from Caesars' bankruptcy docket laid the foundation for a new kind of power in Las Vegas. The city's most iconic resorts would still light up the Strip, but now they did so on land owned by a landlord whose only job was to collect rent, quietly and at scale. Casino operators looking for quick cash have a powerful tool at their disposal: the sale-leaseback. Here is how it works. A company like Caesars sells the land and buildings under a resort to a landlord such as VICI Properties. In return, Caesars gets a lump sum, sometimes hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars upfront. But there is a catch. Caesars still wants to run the casino, so it signs a lease to stay put, paying rent every year for decades. The public never sees a difference. The casino keeps its name, the employees wear the same uniforms, and the loyalty cards still scan at the front desk. But under the surface, the operator has traded ownership for a long-term obligation. These leases are not short-term arrangements. Many run for 25 years or more, with options to extend even further, and the rent is not fixed. Built-in escalators mean it goes up over time, often by a set percentage each year. For example, a lease that starts at $100 million a year with just a 2% annual increase will demand about $164 million by year 25. That is the magic for VICI, a predictable, ever-growing stream of rent, no matter how the casino business is faring. Wall Street loves this model. Investors get steady returns, and VICI collects rent whether the slot machines are hot or cold. The operators, meanwhile, are locked in. The landlord owns the dirt, and if the rent is not paid, the lease spells out what happens next. Quick pause. If you enjoy deep dives that expose who really owns Las Vegas and how the money flows behind the scenes, hit like, subscribe, and comment VICI. So I know you want to follow up on which Strip properties could be next. In 2022, VICI Properties made its boldest move yet. With a single transaction, the company agreed to buy MGM Growth Properties for $17.2 billion, including the assumption of $5.7 billion in debt. The deal instantly doubled VICI's size and transformed its reach across the Las Vegas Strip. 13 major properties changed hands on paper, including MGM Grand, Mandalay Bay, Luxor. New York, New York, Excalibur, and Park MGM. The footprint was staggering. Over 660 acres of prime real estate stretching from the southern tip of the Strip all the way to the north, now under VICI's control. MGM Resorts, once a landlord itself, became a tenant overnight, signing on for nearly $1 billion in annual rent. The numbers were hard to ignore. VICI's total portfolio value soared past $33 billion, and its annual rent income surged by more than $1 billion. The company now held the land beneath some of the most recognizable resorts in America, collecting steady payments while the casino operators handled the day-to-day business. In Las Vegas, this was a quiet transfer of power, one that happened not with neon lights, but with signatures and wire transfers. VICI's invisible empire had reached a new peak, controlling more of the Strip than any other landlord in history. Institutional investors have piled into VICI Properties, drawn by a formula that looks almost bulletproof on paper. The company's long-term leases deliver a steady stream of rent, rising predictably year after year. That dependability is why VICI was added to the S&P 500 in June 2022, joining the ranks of America's largest and most closely watched companies. Big names like Vanguard and State Street own millions of shares, trusting that the cash will keep flowing no matter how the casino floors are performing. Credit agencies have awarded VICI investment-grade ratings, citing the reliability of its income. The contracts with operators like Caesars and MGM are designed to be ironclad. Rent checks arrive like clockwork, with built-in escalators that ensure growth even in lean times. For Wall Street, it is a rare combination: real estate tied to entertainment, yet with the stability of a utility. But beneath that surface, a single weakness stands out. Nearly all of VICI's revenue depends on just a handful of tenants. In 2023, Caesars and MGM accounted for the vast majority of rent. Together, their payments made up over 80% of VICI's annual income. If either company stumbles, the ripple effects could be severe. The same structure that makes VICI a favorite with investors also ties its fortunes tightly to the health of just a few operators. That concentration risk lingers even as the rent rolls in. A night in Las Vegas is supposed to be about luck, but for many guests, the numbers are starting to feel rigged. As rent obligations climb, critics say the pressure lands on visitors' wallets. Resort fees, once a small afterthought, have ballooned, averaging over $45 per night at major Strip hotels by 2023. Parking, once free, now comes with a charge at many properties. Complimentary drinks and free show tickets, staples of casino hospitality, have become harder to come by. Table minimums inch higher, and loyalty perks shrink. Operators rarely mention rent when they explain these changes, but the math is hard to ignore. VICI's $33.3 billion portfolio represents billions in annual rent payments, locked in by contracts that increase over time. For employees on the casino floor, there is more pressure to upsell and more focus on maximizing every guest's spend. The invisible landlord does not set the prices, but the financial engine it built hums quietly underneath, shaping the experience for everyone who walks through the doors. VICI is already looking beyond casino floors and hotel towers. The company's strategy now includes owning the land beneath convention centers, arenas, and entertainment venues, assets designed for experiences, not just gambling. With properties like the Venetian Expo and sites adjacent to the Sphere, VICI is betting that the next wave of Las Vegas growth will come from events, shows, and attractions that draw visitors year-round. Higher interest rates may slow the pace of new deals, but the focus remains on assets that keep people coming back, no matter the economic climate. As operators juggle rising rent and changing guest expectations, the question of who really controls Las Vegas is shifting. In the past, moguls ran the Strip. Today, the landlord may hold the real power. If you want the next episode breaking down which Las Vegas casinos could be sold next, and what that means for prices, comps, and the future of the Strip, Subscribe and drop a comment with the property you think ends up on the chopping block. Las Vegas now runs on long-term leases and rising rent obligations, not just luck or legend. As institutional landlords like VICI control more of the Strip, every visit becomes part of their cash flow. In the new Vegas, the most powerful hand belongs to the one collecting the rent.